The S&P trying to break lower possibly here. S&P futures testing the 1400 level, and could find support there. We'll see how this plays out for us, but a possible short. There it is, 796.7.
Order filled.
And that one's targeting 795.1, and the stop is at 798.7. Russell having a hard time breaking out of any range here. You would have had to make a 6-tick adjustment to get below that last support level on the Russell, and with the Russell with false breakouts, even if it broke through that and triggered in, it could still easily turn around and still work against you anyway. So making that kind of adjustment, I just don't think it works for the most part. These are definitely hard sessions to trade, and you just kind of approach it as the business of the day. You take the next trade. It is what it is. You got your proper risk allotment on each trade, win or lose. It's just a single trade, a single transaction in the course of your doing your trade business. But even with all that said, you could always determine that it's just a crappy session and you don't want any part of it. There's nothing wrong with that. Of course, if you're doing crude, if you're doing the Russell, if you're doing wheat, if you're doing those three, you're pretty well diversified, and you got a nice winner on crude. Maybe the Russell's a dud, or that story's still being written. It could still turn out great. We don't know, but then you got wheat also, and you put the three together, you typically do pretty well, session after session over time. Richard, yeah, we'll be doing wheat in about 26 minutes. We trade it for 30 minutes every day. It's been a very successful trade plan for us. We use a 5-tick momentum range bar. That definitely takes getting used to. You really want to practice your executions and just focusing intensely for 30 minutes on something day after day after day. That in itself is it's an acquired skill. It's not just something you can just fall into without practice. It definitely takes some effort, and it's hard for a lot of people to focus like that on a consistent basis. That's one of the reasons trading is so hard. So now if we can just get some leadership and follow through. There goes the Russell breaking through, and you can see the tick reflecting it. We were under pressure. Now we're trying to make a move lower, and if we can get some follow through, the S&P cracking under 1400. Now, I don't want to just get to money management. I want a full target here. Money management is at 795.8. We just missed it by one tick. So we're almost there. You got to get ready to move there it is. Move your stop down. Stops go now to 796.6. And pushing through, pushing lower. Can we get to full target? This is always the issue with the Russell, is the follow through. The 625 hanging in there nicely. The next test, of course, is that low that was established overnight, 795, big key level. And our target's at 795.1. So if we can just get down there and test it before it pops back up and stops us out for only one tick. The S&P sitting back up. Well, it's right around 1399.75. Now it's at 1400, so that's a sticky number for the S&P. But both the YM and the NQ trying to get lower as well. And I'm looking at the bigger chart here, and it really looks like it's the Russell leading the charge.
Order
And
filled.
there's full target. So the Russell hit its full target. Nice. Let's see if we can pick some up on the trailer. So maybe the Russell's going to give us a comeback. So the 3-bar stop has given this position quite a bit of room, but it's going to start moving down. Well, let's go back to that dollar tick chart because that's revealing. Finally pierced under the minus 800. Let's see if we can get to minus 1000. And the stop getting ready to move down. Look at the Russell stop now. Once this bar closes, looks like it's going to move to 796.1. Full target on the 625 tick is at 792.7, so it still has a ways to go. 625 survived a possible stop and reverse, stayed short, and it's implying a much deeper sell-off here. If it can get down to its full target, that'll be a heck of a trade. breaking through 795 also. So breaking through some pretty strong support. Cracking the floor. Stop on the Russell just moved down to 796.1, so make sure you get those stops moved down. The EU keeping us out of all the noise. So really, if you think about the Euro US on Forex, it's done a great job of just not giving us anything. And the stop on the 625 has moved lower. The Russell 625, that's moved down to 795.6. 795.6. So the Russell with its 3-bar stop and then the 1-tick adjustment around the key level. And looking like we're going to get a nice move down. Hopefully, if this bar closes red on the Russell, we'll get to move our stops down to 795.3. So we got to wait for this bar to close. And that'll almost put us at our full target of the first position with the potential of gaining quite a bit more. So the first trade lost 14 ticks per position. We picked up 16 ticks on this first position on this trade, and if you took the earlier exit with the EMA, you'd be positive or close to it right now. Probably be up or at break even positive with the second position here. So it illustrates how important it is to cut those losses short, because then you can get positive faster when you pick up a subsequent winner. I mean, that's obvious and it's just common sense, but sometimes you don't think of stuff like that when you're in the heat of the moment trying to make decisions. Stop on the 625 just moved down, 799.1. And too bad that that bar just couldn't stay below its neighboring bar to the left, because now we got to keep our stops at 796.1. So if it breaks lower, that'll be a really good example of the stops just really working well, because the 3-bar stop went away or went back up to 796.1, but it would have stabbed through and took us out. If anyone moved their stop down prematurely, they would have been taken out right here. I've seen it explode, and I know that if the trailer is underperforming, as soon as you stop using it, at least the way I look at it, that's when it's going to hit the home runs, and I want to be in there for that and give it a chance to make a comeback. But maybe I'm just being personal and I shouldn't be. 795.6 now is the stop. But we are going to get out of the summer, and we could be getting into a very volatile time with the elections and all that. So I'm just kind of projecting forward, and the trailer may end up surprising everybody. It may make a wicked comeback and end up outperforming. Who knows? All right, well, it's definitely outperforming now. 795.2 and getting ready to move down again. 795.2, getting ready to move down to 790. Yeah, there it goes, 794.6. Full target on the 625, and that's a beautiful thing. 625, you can see it with the automation hitting its full target and still trailing. That stop is going to move down at the close of this bar and take the risk off. And the Russell getting ready on the 377 to move its stop down to 794.1. There it goes, 794.1. And getting ready to go down again to 793.6. And a possible short setting up, and a possible cancellation of the long trade on the EU. Short, long, it's just keeping us out. Yes, we do have wheat coming up. And the stop getting ready to move down on the 377 again. There it goes, 793.1. Very nice. Wheat has opened up. And definitely pays to have multiple monitors. If you're trying to trade more than one market, you may have it in your plan to be done with the Russell when you start wheat, but when you're in a live trade, what do you do at this point? You got to manage both if you need to trade both. Wheat typically is the only thing you want to be focusing on once it starts, because you could easily miss setups. They move really quickly. At the same time, you don't want to cut your trade short on the Russell, so just set that stop and don't panic no matter what. Okay, wheat with a possible long. All right, wheat with a long set up at 885 and a quarter. 885.25. You could see the zero. There was 0 ticks left, so you knew where that setup was going to be. The target is 887.5. And that stop will move up. 881.5. And the stop on the Russell looking like it wants to move down again if it keeps
Order
breaking
filled.
lower. Wheat got long. Wheat's moving up fast. And hitting money management on wheat. Lock in a tick on wheat. Stopping the Russell, getting ready to move to 792.2. Watch that red bar. If it closes red, there it is, 792.2. Lock it in. And trying to get to full target on wheat. We've got another 2 ticks to go. Short on the EU, 23.48, targeting 23.35. Tiny trade again, but that is the next setup. Those small trades reflecting that low range in the EU. We need wheat to burst through here. 1 tick shy of full target on wheat. The Russell holding under its stop, but it may come up here in a moment. Hopefully we could hold for another leg down.
Order filled.
Full target on wheat. And that's a beautiful thing. No news Monday, dog days of August. Highly profitable. You have a great day too, Danny. You're very welcome. Of course, you guys have probably heard by now that the final release of the SST in a couple days. It's hard to imagine. Of course, we'll still be using it in here. Still going to be supporting it. Looking like the Russell may want to be breaking lower. Let's see if it can get below. If it can break below 791, there. Well, it's testing. My new system, John, is not really. There's no date for it yet because it's still in development. By the way, the new system is going to be very complementary to the SST. So any SST owner, they're going to be happy when the new system comes out because it's going to work hand in glove. You're going to like it. You'll find all kinds of ways to utilize both methods. I mean, the SST is one of those methods that just doesn't wear out. It's not one of those methods that becomes obsolete. It's just too dynamic. All right, so we weren't able to move our stop up on wheat yet. That one's still holding. And the Russell's still holding, and the 625 still holding. So we're just inside of winning trades, holding, trying to make as much as we can on them. Okay, the stop on the wheat looks like it's moving up. Got to get out of this bar. There it is. Move your stop up to 886.75.
Order filled.
Okay, wheat finished. First trade done. That one coming off at 886.75. Possible get Bob setting up. All right, that's a long on wheat, 888.5. I usually don't adjust the Bobs, but on this one, let's get above the swing level. 888.75. We've done great with crude. We're positive on the Russell, and we're positive on wheat on a no news Monday. Wheat ended last week with over 25 points. It only had 3 losing trades all week, 9 winning trades. So winning 75% of its trades last week. Wheat with a strong performance with August trading and all. What more could you ask for? And this Get Bob trade could come off. We don't know yet on wheat. The Russell trying to hold below 792.
Order filled.
And it just stopped out. So the Russell just hitting its stop at 792.1. The Get Bob trade still valid on wheat. And for those of you who don't know Get Bob, that stands for Get Back on Board. That typically happens, excuse me, when a winning trade stops out because of our trade management rules or money management, as you saw happen here. but the bars continue to close above the trigger line, implying strength in the market, and we have a chance to get back on board, another move up. It's not one of the original SST trades, but it's become an SST trade over time. We've used it for over a year now, year and a half even. And it's built into the SST Pro calculator. You can turn it on or off, and it's optional whether you want to use it or not. It's really important to remember that. You get used to the Get Bob being what we do here every day, but that never was part of any of the original trade plans. And, you know, maybe if you were to go back and look at what would have happened without it, who knows? You might have ended up doing better. I don't know. I think on different markets it's different. On wheat, it definitely is a nice setup. Great job, Chris. See you tomorrow. And there is a long setting up on the Russell for anyone who wants to take an additional trade. 625 is still going short. The Russell, after those two trades, is up 34 ticks. I mean, one loss, one winner. That trailing stop picking up 4.6. The fixed target gave us 1.6. So we're up 3.4 on the two trades. So I'm just going to call the session done on the Russell and be happy. 34 ticks is a really great result in my book. And Steve with a good point. If you use the 10 EMA, you saved money and actually got out of that losing trade sooner. And so you'd even be up more, 52 ticks. Yeah, that's true. That's true because that definitely was a much smaller loss on that first trade. All right, the Get Bob long is canceled on wheat, so make sure you cancel that. All right, well, glad to have you, Richard. I'm glad you joined us. Thanks for being here. Brian, John, Paul, everyone, Pamela, everyone have a great day. Wheat finishing with 4.25. So nice session on wheat, over $200 on wheat. A really great session on the Russell, the 625 still going. Extremely profitable on that. Over $700 on crude oil, over $400+ on the Russell E-mini. All in all, a really great session for a no news mid-August summer session. So see you all tomorrow.